Leave skepticism and join the solution train.
Clock that. Leave skepticism and join the solution train.
It's my first time coming to Orma exam. You know what I've seen is beyond me. As he said, they really have hidden treasures.
Because he said that he was going to create 1,000 youth millionaires, and he has ended up creating 13,300 so far.
A few days ago, we're at a farm in Oroma Etiti, Anambra West, and what we saw wasn't small at all.
It was big. It was big. And today we're not at the farm, but we're here with the man behind it all to understand how it really started. So you are in for a ride. Let's go. Let's go. Yo. Ooh. So, and this is Mr. Prince.
You're welcome.
So good to have you once again, sir.
Yes, you know, I think I'm seated between two
what?
two delectable, gorgeous.
Clock that.
And
We're supposed to be doing this introduction, though. Like you can't do
you know, so far, it's a good day. But this is a very good Friday.
Oh, this is a Good Friday, actually.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be your host.
We're happy
We're
to
happy to have
you
you too.
We're happy.
Prince Rapulu, right? That's the correct. Rapulu Chukwu Prince. Is it Prince Rapulu Chukwu or Prince Rapulu Chukwu? Which one?
Prince Rapulu Nwezekwe.
Nwezekwe. Yes, Nweze. You like this whole praise thing, oh? You like
Actually.
Okay, no, Nwezekwe is my surname.
Okay, Nwezekwe
Is my
is your
surname.
surname.
Yes,
So
Rapulu
Prince,
is-
a few days ago, was it on Monday? We were at your farm in Oroma Etiti,
Yeah.
Anambra West. And you took us through the massive farmland and everything, and we're really amazed by what we saw.
Very.
And we just want to ask, how did you start this journey?
Oh, okay. You know, first and foremost, Anambra West. Oh, just a minute. Anambra West, or
You can't, Tomorrow's ABC.
no, but Anambra West
Yeah.
is the food basket of Anambra State,
Okay.
and it's maybe by happenstance we are the biggest local governments in the state
By landmass.
by landmass.
Okay.
Yes,
Very specific about this thing.
Very important.
You have to be.
You know, so the biggest local government by landmass.
Thank you. Yeah.
So it's an advantage for us because almost virtually all of us from Anambra West, you know, we have a thing or two with agriculture. You understand by nature of our natural advantage you have, you know. Yes, and then coming to me, you know, like I've come from a generation of farmers, you know. Yes, so you can see, you know, the learning curve.
Yeah.
Yes, so then there comes the game-changing aspect of it. Yes, you know, there's no way you encounter Soludo and your life will remain the same, you know.
Yeah.
So once you encounter Soludo, there'll be solution to your problem. You know,
Word.
in fact, there'll be solution in everything you are doing.
Yeah.
So, and then
Soludo solution.
You understand? In fact, the Soludo solution is not just a slogan. It's a mantra. In fact, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Actually.
And we are living it off in Anambra.
Yeah.
You know, so when we encountered him, you know, he transformed what we were doing in our agriculture. In fact, we can boldly say that through the help of His Excellency Professor Church, we are no longer farmers, we are now agropreneurs. You know, because now this is the business. You know, an agripreneur is the entrepreneur in agriculture.
The business of
You know, the
agriculture.
business of agriculture. And
So you're not
that's-
just a regular farmer.
no. That's what we are now. You understand? You know, we are creating wealth. You know, we are creating wealth. We are adding value to the state, trying to increase the state revenue basis by creating employment for
Yeah.
our unemployed youth. So the governor, our encounter with the governor has been very, very progressive because it has helped us to move to the next level. It has able to kind of open door for us. You know, and this encounter will mean because of his intentional policy about growing the youths of Anambra
Anambra
State,
State.
Yeah.
you know, taking us to the next level. He made through the One Youth Two Skill Empowerment Program, which is arguably the biggest youth empowerment scheme in the whole of Africa, because it is well structured, it is well articulated, and the implementation is top notch. So, with the youth of Anambra, we thank him too for the appointment of Patrick Ayamba, you know,
Yeah.
as the commissioner for youth, because he was the vessel
That he used.
the governor used to
push
implement
everything.
the program. In fact, his appointment is like a square peg in a square hole. Very energetic. He went to all the centers, you know, monitoring to make sure that everything was going in order.
So he was the one that located you, or
Oh,
did
you
you?
located-
How did you hear about One You Two Skills?
Okay, yeah, you know, then they announced it. Do you understand? And then we keyed in, went to the ministry, you know, and they applied. Then before they knew, actually, they sent through the traditional rulers, the president generals of the communities,
Yeah.
and then announcement were made in churches too.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And then the One You Two Skill team has a very huge social media presence. So people applied online. So people went to their different pages across the different social networks and applied. So, and then if you were successful, they onboarded you in the program. It's mind-boggling that about 123,000 youths applied for the program. So it
Yeah.
was oversubscribed.
Oh.
But you know,
How were you selected though? Did you know anybody there or it was a seamless?
No. It's you know, for you to be selected, you understand. You know, once you apply, you now go. Just like we say in Anambra, if I say plate again at Billy.
Okay, so you don't even need to know anybody. All you have to do is just apply.
No.
And then people will be picked
Yes,
randomly.
Like I
Oh.
said, no, if I have
Chaplain,
chaplets
you know,
So knowing fully well that this was a government program, what made you take it serious? To give in the attitude you gave to like, let me go get all, knowing it's a government program and the mindset people have of government program is that it's not a serious thing. So what gave you that confidence that let me take this
This will
program
be worth my
seriously?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you know, just like they said, when a good leader is in position, you understand, everything will be right.
Yeah.
You understand? So, the man at the helm of affairs for Anambra State, you know, His Excellency Professor Chukuma, so the CFI, you know, his antecedents and track record from his previous engagements, you know, from the World Bank, CBN, you know. So we knew that this is a man that keeps to his words. Do you understand? And
Yeah.
in his manifesto was very, very specific that he was
Yeah.
going to create 1,000 youth millionaires every year.
Yeah.
So based on those promises in the manifesto, then we now keyed into the program, knowing that this is what is there, and he has always kept his words. In every
Words.
endeavor he has found himself. You understand? You know, His Excellency Chief Olusegun Obasanjo
the former
said,
president,
the former president of Nigeria said that Chukwuma Soludo and Okonjo Iweala are the two greatest appointments he made as a president. So with such
Track record.
yes, and with such endorsement coming from your former boss,
Testimonies,
you know,
yeah.
of course that is it. So you so that Governor Soludo is an asset anywhere, anytime. So when he said that, we keyed in.
So you mean because he has said it, you believed him?
He had
Yeah.
it was Soludo. Because he had always kept his words. Everything he said, put in his manifesto and campaign promises, he has fulfilled. So that was what gave us the leverage to become
Key,
part
yeah.
of
And
the
take it serious.
of the program. And yes, and of course, we are thank God that we utilized the opportunity very well.
So Prince, I mean, you've talked a lot about, how you started, how Mr. Governor came in, how you encountered Soludo's touch, and eventually, you picked up, or your business had enormous changes, right? Now, I'd like to ask, in your journey, did you ever feel like giving up? At what point, like, what was the hardest thing for you, both in your farming journey and in the one you two skills journey?
Okay, the challenges encountered in the program, well, but for me personally, I didn't have any program, any challenges at all.
Okay.
But like the program was well thought out, it was well structured, and so that organization at least mitigated because the challenges, because most of the challenges we foresaw, and then it was kind of mitigated, and then
Okay.
the logistically way of transportation to the venue,
Yeah.
that is those who applied outside their location.
Yeah.
So we had the issue of
Oh, okay.
transportation, but Mr. Governor, in his kindness, brought the transportation allowance for them.
Oh,
so I
wow,
believe
wow.
yes, that mitigated
Wow.
that aspect of it. So on overall, I think it was a fantastic success story. The one you to skill program.
So, Prince, you mentioned something before that you were a farmer. In fact, you come from a lineage of farmers. What about those people that registered for the program that didn't have the type of background you had?
Exactly.
How did they cope? Was there provision for people that knew nothing in
Total
any of the
beginners.
skills? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That's the wonderful thing about the program. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because they came to be impacted, and then the ministry was very, very intentional about the people they selected to tutor trainees. So yes, so there was a scheme of work. We didn't just have to be training them. The ministry, Mr. Commissioner prepared a template for, because within the 6 months or within the duration of your training, there was a program for each day, each week, and each month, and they were all assessed. At the end of every week, they have a logbook.
Okay.
The trainees use logbook. They
Wow.
assess them. The master trainer has to make an input, and then at the end of the day, the ministry, a supervisor from the ministry has to make an input in the logbook. So it was well structured. And
That
then,
even beginners can.
Yes,
of course,
intermediate.
yes, of course, there was a
Everybody.
scheme for it. There's a kind of scheme of work. So at each day, each week, you have something to do. So all the master trainers, they were teaching a uniform they said program across the 320 political world.
Okay.
So nobody, you cannot teach what you want to teach. It is what the ministry gave you.
Wonderful.
You
No
understand?
matter your level, you are
Yes.
going to pick up.
You understand?
No
Yes.
matter the knowledge you had before.
Of course, because the good thing about the program, because before they choose you as a master trainer, they came to your shop to ascertain your level of preparedness, the number of years you have as experience, then
Okay.
they see the kind of work
Yeah.
you have done
Yeah.
before you can say, okay, this person is
Good
can
enough
teach
to
people.
impact others.
Yes, so that's why it was the best that were selected to, and you can see the products of one to skill. You can see we are doing marvelous things everywhere.
Actually,
Yes.
very
So
well.
what difference? I want to know what difference has one you two skill made in your life and in your farming journey so far?
Okay, this is okay. This looks like a simple question, but with a long answer. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But I'll try as much as possible
To
to
make it short.
Yes. Now, the thing why I say that one you to skill is a game changer in empowerment. Because Mr. And I think this is one of the biggest legacies, if not the biggest legacy of Mr. Governor.
Okay.
Mr. Governor has so many legacy projects.
Yeah.
But one you to skill should, in my opinion, should be the biggest legacy, because these are about 13,300 human beings that he has empowered. These are people he has created the
Real
future
humans.
for.
Yes.
These are people he has created. This is all about building infrastructure, but these are people, human beings. In fact, let me say this. In fact, this is an advanced stomach infrastructure because we have been empowered for life.
Yeah.
These skills they've learned, the triple effect of these people that the governor has empowered, like he's unprecedented. You can't quantify it, because some of them now will start having a family. their children, So he has created, but it's a generational empowerment program.
Yeah.
So, that's why I said it's a short question with a very long answer.
So, but what about you personally?
Yeah, I'm coming because I was not the only one that benefited from the program. You understand?
Yes.
So I wasn't the only one that benefited.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving you an overview.
Okay.
Before personalizing it to myself.
Yeah.
Yes, myself due to where I was before he came in, we were doing like 1,000 seedlings. But as we came in contact with financing from ASBA, and then with the one youth two skill, visibility, we are doing 6,000, 8,000 tubers now annually.
1,000 to
8,000
6,000 to
seedlings.
8,000. Such a wide
Seedlings, not even.
Yes, because
Wow.
by the time you harvest, you can even get up to 10,000 from the seedlings.
Yes.
You understand?
Wonderful.
So you can, and then the visibility it has given us. Do you understand?
Okay.
We now get orders from different places.
Like
Do you understand?
where?
In fact, we haven't expanded because sometimes we don't meet the orders we have.
Wonderful.
Where
Do
do
you
you
understand?
get these orders
We
from?
get from Asaba, we get from Enugu, within. Minus Anambra, of course, Anambra is saturated. Do you understand? They're giving you, because people have heard about program even outside Anambra. Do you understand? So it's not just
So you're
Anambra.
exporting.
Yes. Then that come to that area, then we now co-founded, as a result of the Offshore One Youth stuff, I co-founded a company with a carries food processing and packaging. We are using it to export the fish to the United Kingdom.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Yes, these are all. The One Youth has a huge social media presence, and
Yeah.
they saw us, they saw what we were doing, and they know trust. But this way, I tell you again that the man who have at their fair, Mr. Governor, Chachukma Soludo, his integrity, it goes beyond the shores of Nigeria. You do understand? Because once people see that you are identified with the Soludo administration, they want to do business with you.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because everybody wants trust.
Yeah.
Trust key in every
Track
business
record
transaction.
is there.
So from here in Oka and Anambra, we're exporting fish to the United Kingdom. Carries food processing and packaging vendors. So that is one two skill that gave us that leverage, that visibility for us to do that. And then, again, what we have gained through the program, we now have, because we have 1,300 beneficiaries in agriculture. Now, these are now forming farm clusters. So, in line with Mr. Governor's agricultural agenda, which is part of his grand Vision 2070, that Anambra State is going to become a hotbed for agro-allied industry. In fact, the number one in Nigeria. And you can see he's laying the foundation already.
Yeah.
With all the 1,300 beneficiaries in agriculture.
In agriculture,
just from one youth
specifically.
alone. Just from one youth, 1,300 beneficiaries from one youth in agriculture alone. Of course, we are going to be the off-takers for the new agro-revolution that Mr. Governor is planning for our dear state. And then when you look at the land banking, the land cluster, because agriculture has the potential to create enormous wealth for the state and employment, increase our revenue generation, because when you now move the governor's farm to feed initiative, we now move it to farm to earn.
Okay.
Whereby we are not just a farmer.
You're not just feeding.
You
You're now
understand?
earning.
But you're
Making
earning money.
money.
I'm earning a living. We can build your houses from farming. And so this is a practical agenda that the governor has for our youth. And the youth of Anambra State are ready to key into this agenda.
They've already keyed
and
it,
see
obviously.
that it's well implemented.
Yeah.
So the youths are ready. And then, so what we're saying that the one you do scale is a chain. It's a chain that connects different sectors of the economy. So that's why I said that is about the biggest legacy of Mr. Governor, because he has to be with human empowerment, human capacity building.
I have something I just want you to clarify, because a lot of people are asking this question. They say one youth, two skills.
Yes.
What are the skills? Is it you'd choose the skills you want to learn? Maybe you want to learn farming and you still want to learn baking. One youth, two skills, or just can you throw more light on that?
Okay, no, one youth, two scale. Just like the name sound.
Yeah.
Is one youth, you have two skill. But this time
Exactly.
around, one, you have a skill, that's where you learn the profession you want, be it tailoring, baking, farming. Yes, that one. At the end of that skill, we'll give you certificates that you've now mastered the skill. That's the first skill.
Certificate or certificate?
No, certificate first before the certificate.
Okay.
Because yes, now there are so many persons carry certificate up and down, but don't know anything.
Everything.
So at one UT skill, the first thing that was we have to certify your Sabiness ability.
Hey.
Do you understand?
Lies.
Eh,
Lies
so
are
you understand? So since we want to certify your sabiness ability, we'll give you a certificate. That's one of the certificates. Then the second certificate is now, some people that are doing that program, some of them have not even entered the four walls of schools before.
Yeah.
But now the governor has now given them an opportunity to have an advanced AI institution certificate. Unity Business School.
Oh wow.
Trained you for 6 weeks. Unity Business
Apart
School.
from the normal training.
Yes. Apart when you finish your certificate now, need second certificate.
Okay.
That in line with the 1U2 skill agenda.
Yes.
So the first skill in the 1U2 skill is certificate. While the second skill now is the certification, which is basically financial management.
Wonderful.
Because you know that businesses, their issue is financial management.
Yeah.
So the governor is very intentional. You know his background from the economic sector. He's a financial man.
True.
The 3 times best CPN governor in the world. So of course, so he's very intentional in everything he does. So Unity Business School, after the 6 weeks now, will now give you certificate in entrepreneurship.
So now it's not when they give you money, you go and squander it.
No, before you of course you soludo now. You understand? So there must be value for money.
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
Soludo, there must be value. Everything was very accountable to
Because just like he says, that what does he tell that Onyanam that is paying tax
You
that
understand?
he used his or her money to do?
Of course, you understand. So before Soludo gives you money, one, you must sabi something. And then he now has to satisfy that actually
you know how to
Naima,
manage
that thing is
the
in him.
money.
And you
So
can
you see,
actually manage that money.
manage the, you understand kind of thing. So
Yeah.
of course, so that is that's just the two
one
skill
you two
thing.
skills. Oh,
Yeah. So
beautiful.
the first one is the skill you get, and then the second one is the financial management certificate from Unity Business School. That's
So
it.
this is to ask, right? Is there any structure that is in place to track the beneficiary during the training and even after the training to know that, okay, these people are learning, or maybe what we've given to these people to empower them, they are actually using it for the said purpose? Is there any structure like that?
Oh, okay. Thank you for that question. Just like I told you earlier,
Yeah.
that Mr. Governor is very intentional about everything he does.
Yeah.
So now, and I told you that 1U2 skill is a novel program that is game changer of youth empowerment in not just Nigeria but sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
Now, as the program starts, the master trainer has attendance.
Okay.
In fact, the Honorable Commissioner for Youth, passed now, Mr. Patrick Ayamba, he went around all the training centers in all the local government areas. Some he visited like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But even at the peak of when we were still having these skirmishes of no government, whatever, he still went to Ihel and went to other locations that
Yeah.
were deemed difficult to attend to. He went to Anambra West, Olumbanasa. So he was actually on ground, the commissioner, to make sure that everything is going as planned by Mr. Governor.
Yeah.
And then post the training, they have 10 groups because they have been grouped into cooperatives. That the trainees, that the beneficiaries have been grouped into cooperatives.
Wow.
So everybody knows their self.
Yeah.
So and it's easy to track the progress report. They kind of do peer review. Do you understand how you guys are doing it? You understand? So and again, there's mentorship program currently ongoing.
Yeah.
Because this is the fight. In fact, 1U2 skill has not even ended, mind you, because we are the last stage, which is mentorship.
Yeah.
Yes, the chairman of it is the Honorable Tony Omata, Special Assistant to the Governor on Youth Empowerment. Why the former Commissioner Ayamba is the supervisor.
Oh,
Do you understand?
beautiful.
The mentorship is going across all the 21 local government area.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
What does it entail in this business mentorship? Business financing, business model. How, now you started you have the empowered, you have started. What challenges you're having?
facing, and this
That's basically what the mentorship is all about.
Yeah.
Because the governor again engaged professionals. They have professionals from the Unity Business School, then the Chukwemeko Juku Entrepreneur
Yeah.
Center of Entrepreneurship.
Okay.
They brought in resource persons who
Yeah.
are taking these beneficiaries on these trainings. If you have both in your business registration and everything. So what I'm saying is that 1U2 skill is a whole package. It's not just when they give you money, they leave you, but they
So
monitor you.
we have a body that
In fact, it's an
teaches
institution.
we have an institution
Yes.
that not only trains you but empowers you.
And
But not
monitors
just
your
don't
progress.
empowers you, but they will also monitor you. And mind you, they don't just monitor. From what we hear now, they will also link you to opportunities.
Yes, of course.
So from everything we've heard here today, Amaka, we have a body,
An
we have
institution.
an institution rather. We
Yeah.
have an institution that not only trains you, they would empower you.
Of course.
They would not only empower you, they would follow you up. They will track your progress,
Monitor you.
And they will not only do that, they will now link you to opportunities. Like, this is okay. The opportunity you mentioned, they are now exporting to the
UK, yeah.
Yes. So we just have a body that does these 4 things in a package. God.
Serious package.
Full package.
So, Mr.
package.
Mr. Prince, what do you have to
Tell
say,
Mr. Governor.
basically? Say to the youth and to Mr. Governor.
Okay, well, first and foremost, I don't know. I'll be looking for the adjective to qualify Mr. Governor. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But I know that they say that the reward for hard work is more work. Just like you always said, Nakaro matter beans. But I think, but with the few things I forgot a number. Oh, matago beans. On a racho beans. So probably second, I change the gear na second tenor now. You will not enter the kitchen. In the Anambra, let's see what the governor is cooking. But I'm also
I can't wait.
We know Soludo. We're already sensing the aroma. Because now, Anu Sinle, as we met a guy. So we're already sensing the aroma. So we know
And it's a beautiful one.
that we are in for a delicious meal in this second tenor. So, and on this note, I want to personally thank and appreciate Mr. Governor. To the youths of Anambra, I have just one message for us. Leave skepticism and join the solution train.
Clock that. Leave skepticism and join the solution train.
Are you clocking it?
Clock that.